to continue with the changing perspectives idea, because I think I'm just really drowning out that other one. Depending on how you think about it, depending on your perspective, the Earth is the center of the universe. What I'm saying is backed up by science. It is not wrong to say that the Earth is the center of the universe. Just as it's wrong to say, or just as it's not wrong to say that the Sun is the center of the universe, or Alpha Centauri is the center of the universe. The basis of that principle is that it's all a matter of perspective. If you start at Earth and you look outwards, just with the solar system, you'll see that everything is revolving around the Earth. It is because of math and science that we recognize that that is not the case. Of which, we don't recognize that necessarily that all the other planets are revolving around the Sun, but rather that the gravitational mass of the Sun is greater than all the other planets. So therefore, all of the other planets must be revolving around the Sun. Because it's a lot easier to expect that the universe moves in a easily calculable way, such that there isn't really an ellipsis or an oval when considering space. Since if you were to put the Earth as the center of the solar system, then the Oort cloud, which is a large mass of very small asteroids at the edge of the solar system, would be off-center. And with that in mind, you kind of throw off the idea that the Earth is the center of the solar system. So it's really a matter of perspective. If you consider the necessity of circles and the incorporation of gravity, then therefore the Sun is the center of the universe, the center of the solar system. Continuing with perspectives, the reason why the Earth could be considered the center of the universe is because if you look at it, then everything is going away from Earth. If you aren't aware, a lot of scientists believe that space is slowly separating and going farther apart from each other. They aren't really sure why, but they just kind of know that it's happening. And so, if you put it like that, then we would be the center of the universe, since everything is going away from us. However, you can shift that same perspective and try to look at it from the Sun's perspective. Everything is going away from the Sun, because the Sun isn't moving. And this ties us right back into the whole concept of movement. It's not theoretically possible to go backwards in time, but you can change your perspective of time by changing your movement in respect to another object. It wouldn't be necessarily wrong to say that a snail's time moves slower than a human's time, since the speed at which the snail moves is so much slower by comparison, which therefore allows for the snail to... Okay, so I stopped talking because there's traffic cones out, blocking some of the lanes in the roads, and I don't know why. Like, I see the service truck, but I don't see anyone outside of the truck. Just the cones standing there and blocking the street, and I don't know why. Continuing. This, you could recognize that the snail is time moves slower than a human's time because the difference in speed, the difference at which they can move. And it is largely because of that you could say that time travel is possible in relativity to the present. That is, if you move faster or move to a different position in relativity to something else, then therefore your time would change. The easiest way to understand that would be getting on a plane and flying somewhere that is along the equator of the world, wherein your time zone would change. After all, it would not be wrong to say that if you go from the very first time zone, I think it's at like plus 14, to the very last time zone, I think at negative 12, you would theoretically, because they're back to back, by moving 1 second, you would change time by 2 days in relativity to everyone else. And so that's what I mean. Like, time is relative to your movement and position. If you move at light speed, your time would be slower by comparison to everyone else, because everyone else is moving slower and can make the same amount of make more movements across the same measurement of time. Whereas if you move incredibly fast, you make a lot less movements over the same amount of time. That might not make a lot of sense, but think about it as trying to put this in perspective is hard since I can't really do it very well. But think about it as if you're traveling time zones in an aircraft, and the amount of time that you have to write up a paper would be less on that aircraft as opposed to if you were just on the ground and doing it then, because your time zones would be changing. In theory, the same thing can apply if you're going in the reverse of the time zones, so that way you're actually extending your day. But I'm just going to ignore that for right now and just kind of focus on the other point. Oh, I meant to switch points. I'll do that. Because I feel like I'm losing the whole perspective thing now. I don't have much more time with this episode. Anyway, I'll just prep you for the next episode, then I suppose, and drop the whole idea I had earlier. Oh well. My solution to solving high urban poverty in like ghettos and high gang areas. I believe it's fivefold. It might be fourfold. I'm trying to remember all the points. I'm pretty sure it's fourfold. First and foremost, increase educational funding. And the primary point of this is to build highly secure, or at the very least safe, schools, such that they have very late nights. Like, you can stay there on campus to like 9, 10 o'clock, working with school clubs or something. The point of that one is to get kids either A, out of the house, or off the streets, so in a place you can watch them, and B, to allow for children to be able to avoid bad home situations by coming to school. So that way, school is a sanctuary rather than like a punishment. Second major point of this is to give small businesses fairly large grants or loans, kind of like student loans. So they can't go away just by going bankrupt. The point of these grants is to increase security within the small business increase how many people they can hire. And third, so you can have a way to stop the small businesses from selling to gang members. True, it can be, the loans can be just a recommendation. Please do not sell it to gang members if you can avoid it. And you can keep your grant. If you're found doing otherwise, then you may lose your grant. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. I'll spend my next video kind of going over more ideas later on. Sorry, there's someone trying to park well. And I wonder if I'm parked badly. Yeah, I'm parked more or less okay. That'll be it for this episode. Leave a like and comment. Please subscribe if you haven't already. With that, I've got to get going to school. Later. Bye-bye.